Morning YouTube. It is October 25th of 2024 and it was a frosty one last night. I had to get the fire going this morning. It was below zero outside. Not much better right now. It's only like, well, it's noon, but it's only like a couple of degrees above. But anyway, we're going to get after a couple of projects on this 1530. Number one is I got to manufacture a new bolt that holds that water pipe onto the block, and then make an extension that'll run that engine crank in through the end of the coffin there to crank the engine over. The 1030 is about an inch and a half or whatever short. So I'm going to try to modify that without compromising any of the original components, because I might get a actual one that fits the 1530, and I might want to put this one right back on the 1020. Anyway, let's get started. What I'm looking at here is the side of the engine block of the 1530, and that round opening there is the water inlet from the radiator going into the block. It's a pretty large opening in the block. Like, I think it could be 3 inches or more. I've never measured it, but anyway, right in the center is a shiny object with a hole in it. That's part of the casting in the back, and that hole represents the mounting bolt of the casting on the outside. It's a casting pipe, cast pipe that diverts water between the radiator. So anyway, that bolt that attached everything into that area there was eroded to the point where it just broke off and left the stud inside the casting. Long story short, I tried to weld nuts on it and back it off that way. My welding sucks, so that didn't work. So after that, I just got the Dremel out, ground it down flat so I could identify the outside area where the bolt, the bolt is. It's a 1/2-inch bolt. Center punched it, drilled it out to the appropriate size, and ended up chiseling out the remaining debris like this. Okay, that cleaned those threads up pretty good. Now that bolt will run right in there fairly easily. And got it all cleaned up, so that hole is totally workable now. I can now move forward and see what I have to do to get a bolt that goes in there and tightens that down. This here is the cast pipe that comes off the side of that block, and it's just a round casting hole right in the middle of it. There's one bolt that holds it to the block. This is the other side here. So anyway, that's what we need to get. There's I'm going to make a cork gasket that goes around here. So that's the part that we have to anchor down to the block. Now this is the bolt. Pretty long, at least 6 inches, maybe 7 inches long, but it's corroded to the point over years. It's like an anode rod in a water heater. It's just deteriorated and disappeared. That's why it just turning it, this little pinpoint here was always holding it, so it just twisted off. So my problem is I can get a new bolt that long, and attach it to the attach to the block. But the head here is a beveled head. That's what makes the gasket on the casting. So I think what I'm going to do is do some magic. I'm going to cut this off and just weld it to the stem of another bolt. due for repair, that's for sure. And on top of it, the heads of these bolts in the old days were like twice as thick as they are today. So I want to maintain the authentic look of the rest of the tractor. It has all these thick heads. So anyway, we're going to move on over to the welding bench and see what we can do. Another project we're going to get at today is this crank that goes through the front end of the coffin in front of the motor, and this here goes onto the pin at the crank, and you crank it over. But this here assembly here is almost identical. It's a 1020 assembly, 1020 model. It's a little bit smaller, so this is short. It's short in here. I need to add at least 1 to 2 inches of length into here, but I don't want to modify this actual assembly. So we're going to make an assembly, just an extension, kind of like an extension on a ratchet set. That'll give us enough length to reach into and grab the crank. So that's the other project we're going to be after today. Okay, I got this threaded rod that I'm going to use, and I've got it lined up with the head of that bolt there, clamped into the angle iron. So we're going to go ahead and slag on the end of that bolt there till it sticks. All right, well, we got her slagged on there. You certainly wouldn't want me to be welding on the keystone pipeline, joining pipe together, but I think this is going to hold. I'm going to clean her up with the angle grinder and see how it works out. Okay, I did get this welded up, all thread to the stud here. Yeah, it's not the best job, but I think it's going to hold for quite a while. That's all right. And then I cleaned up this land here, gasket surface, and I made myself a cork gasket. And this bolt just goes right on through the center, and it's got a chamfered edge here and a beveled head of that bolt, and that goes in there. That's what makes the seal. I'm going to put it on there dry. I'm not going to put any RTV or sealant on there because this is going to come off a few times. Okay, we'll see if we can get it to go in there and tighten down. This here pipe, I won't know exactly what angle to have it until I get the radiator back on and line it up with the radiator pipe. But that's a good enough fix for now. I'm pretty sure that's going to work out. Okay, there's what I started with. I already had the pin for the crank pull removed, so I didn't put it back in because I need to get this pulley repaired to slide that on, and then put the nut, and then put that pin back in. So just temporarily, I got this. It'll sit right over top of that, and I just put a 3/8 bolt in there. That's just going to keep it lined up at the right area. But initially, I had to drill this pin out of this hub and get this hub removed right off of this shaft. This is the crank. Don't know if you can see that very good, but this is the actual crank. So it's when I took it apart, there was a like a compression spring in here, but it's all rotted and come out in pieces. So I'm going to be missing that spring until I find another one, but I think it'll work for all our intents and purposes here in the near future. So that just slides right into this casting. I got these 2 bolts in there, and that casting holds that crank in place. So to start with, I'm just going to get this here, that pawl in place. Then I cut just out of a bolt and drilled one hole. This is just a short stubby that it's going to line up inside the pawl. And to hold it in place, I just got this old bolt. I'll just turn it in so as the threads catch on it a bit. And that'll hold that in place for now. So there we got, this is the extension that I need on this 1530. It's a longer reach, so a little bit of an extension. So then we'll get this collar I've got that I'm going to join things together with. And this is the old broken anode, kind of eroded rod bolt from the water jacket. And it just happens to fit in there good enough to line things up. So when I shove this forward, now that's as far in as it needs to go, but it's still got this much travel to come back. And that's the original travel, right from this here line to here. So theoretically, it's going to work out just fine. I got my little marker between that stub shaft and this collar. I'm just going to put a dot on it, and I'm going to weld this collar to that little stub shaft. So once I got that together, I'll bring you on back, and we'll put this back together semi-permanently, and we'll try it out. Okay, I just got temporary pins in there yet. They're going to work just for a demonstration purpose. Got these bolts with a nut on. They're not the right size. I'll have to, I want to get pins peened over in there. So I just using bolts for now. There's the welding, or example of. Pretty rough, but I think it's going to do the trick. So we'll just try turning this over. And there she goes. Well, that's a heavy pull. And of course my temporary pin dropped out. Well, once it's loosened up, it turns over just nicely. Okay, now we're just waiting on that pulley. So we got to get that pulley back, but at least I got this. Well, let's just see how. Yeah. So it just comes back, and it's just off the end of that crank. I'm just going to sit there like it would normally. So there we got it. Happy that that turned out. Well, that's going to be a wrap for today, because as you can hear, I got or Phil's got the motorhome running in the background there, airing her up and pulling in the slides. Getting ready for Arizona, leaving in the morning. Another year's done. But anyway, I got those two things done. I got my pipe for the water jacket on, and I rebuilt that crank to start the engine from cranking on the front. So we got all that done. We're going to call her an end for the video. We will catch up to you later. We're going to go for a drink, and then I got to get up on top of the motorhome and pull the satellite dish down, because, well, neither Phil or Connie are in the bracket there where they can climb up on top there anymore. So I'm going to get up there, get that down. All right, bye for now.